I like the connections, the personal connections that you make and when you go on something like this rather than just to be a tourist.
Thank you so much. It really was a look at what we are able to do. Engaging with some of these churches in Quito really sounded like something that I wanted to be involved with.
I think the first thing that really just caught my attention was just the idea of going to the Galapagos and getting to be on a pilgrimage to experience creation.
In June of 2025, our team of 16 from St. Martin's Episcopal Church and one of us from Trinity Cathedral traveled to Ecuador for a short-term mission and pilgrimage in partnership with Education Equals Hope, an international non-governmental organization based in Ecuador. The short-term mission provided context and cultural orientation, in addition to traditional missionary service projects, and on a deeper level, sought to forge strong community ties between St. Martin's, our diocese, and the Episcopal Diocese of Central Ecuador, and one local parish, El Buen Pastor Episcopal Church, in the capital city of Quito. We broke bread with our counterparts in El Buen Pastor, worked with children in traditional Bible school activities, performed work projects, provided medical clinic support, and shared in worship and fellowship around the Sabbath. The pilgrimage aspect would entail both this mission work as well as a creation care experience in the Galapagos Islands, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best preserved natural wonders in the world.
Yeah, so the purpose of mission and pilgrimage for a parish, for our parish, is to grow deeper spiritual roots. Mission is at the heart of the gospel. Jesus tells us to go to places far away. He crosses waters to go be with his people. So the purpose of mission for us is to also go be with God's people, even if it means we also cross the water to go find them. We in the diocese have a relationship with the Diocese of Ecuador through Education Equals Hope, and so that was the connection there for us. And pilgrimage is something similar. Pilgrimage is to go find where God's holiness has resided. So historically, pilgrimage is you go to a sacred cathedral, you go find the relics of a famous saint. For us and the pilgrimage that we did, it was sort of finding God's holiness in a couple of different places, finding God's holiness in the living saints, in our friends in the Diocese of Ecuador, and finding God's holiness in creation, in the Galapagos, in a place where the mystery of that creation is both very thin, just like a holy place, and also a mystery to us still. And to be in that place where we're still learning so much about just how God ordered this creation. Education Equals Hope is an organization that does micro scholarships to give children access to school. So in Ecuador, public school is free, but the supplies needed for public school are not. But you might be thinking, yeah, that sounds like the United States, except that in the US, if you show up without your 6, number 2 yellow pencils and your patent leather shoes, you still get to sit in the classroom for the day. In Ecuador, if you show up and you don't have the supplies, the uniform, the books, you have to buy your own textbooks, you don't get to step into the classroom that day.
Education Equals Hope blew me away in the impact that they can have with less than $10. Some of them, I think she said the vast majority of them were below, $15 to $20. And that allows a child to get an education, to feel more secure, to have at least a meal if that's needed in that day. But not only that, I think their success lies in the trust with the community and the partnerships with the community that they build. They are intentionally partnering with mission sites that will also support those kids too, that will hold them accountable, will make sure that they are valuing that education, but also valuing themselves too, and really setting them up for success.
Our mission was based in Quito, capital city of Ecuador, a surprisingly large city, population approximately 2.6 million souls. It is also one of the highest cities in the world at over 10,000 feet. And it's the oldest capital in South America, almost 150 years older than Charleston.
We had never been to Quito. We had fairly high expectations because it's way up in the mountains and it's got the volcano with the snow on it overlooking it and all that kind of thing. So I was looking forward to Quito, and it turned out to be I learned a lot and met a lot of people who were very interesting. So overall, Quito was a wonderful experience.
Oh, it was such a difference within the city itself. I mean, the first coming in and seeing the huge mountains, but seeing the hillsides covered with houses, but then just within that, the size of the city, the closeness of the communities, how they were developed and that they did live close together. And then when we got out into Quito itself, how those communities seemed to engage.
First, I was astonished at how large Quito was. For whatever reason, I did not have that population size and the so many different areas of the city. I had kind of envisioned a little bit smaller of a city. And I think one of the things that really stuck with me through that was in visiting the cathedral and seeing immediately that connection to nature that they had shown so vividly in the rose window of all of the flowers, as well as the gargoyles being the different animals that you could find only in Ecuador and Galapagos rather than your usual gargoyles. And that really stood out to me, that even in the middle of the city, in the cathedral that they built to honor the glory of God, they also chose nature and highlighted their unique environment.
I think the thing that I remember the most about Quito was being in the community of Buen Pastor and just the love and the celebration and the joy that was there. Nobody on the trip really spoke Spanish fluently, but it was that happiness and that joy and that celebration that really broke through it all. And yes, we were playing games or we were doing Bible studies, but just being in community and just being church with them was part of what will really forever stick in my mind.
And we promise in our baptism to uphold the dignity of every human being. So when we do mission with Education Equals Hope and as St. Martin's, what we're doing is entering in mutual relationship with people who are already doing mission among themselves, right? They have God's good word and strong faith. They're not lacking. We also have God's word and strong faith. We're not lacking. And yet when the two groups come together, when we come together in that mutual relationship and love, I know my faith was set on fire, right? That's mission. That's bringing God's word, the good news of God's word, to each other in mutuality and equality that lifted up everyone's dignity and inspired everyone.
So the medical team was made up of the two Lauras and Lindsay and myself and Brenda. So Brenda was the the liaison on the ground, so to speak, in Quito, and she sort of was the triage person. She did, took the people in, figured out what's wrong, did basic, weight, height, blood pressure, that kind of thing, and then everybody got divvied out according to who she felt would be the best person to work with them.
I always loved being a nurse and a nurse practitioner and helping people, and I've been retired for quite a while now. So for me, it was like wonderful to have the opportunity again to help people. And the problems that we heard people complain about were not complex problems. They just lacked the knowledge of what to do for them.
And so many of the things that we did at Buen Pastor, fixing up the church, scraping paint, scraping the walls, kind of sprucing up the parish, or going with some of the parishioners to fix a meal with them and eat with them in their homes. That was just a tremendous experience.
We did some of the kind of classic, mission service type things, but we didn't swoop in and do them ourselves while everybody else was away. We did them all together because that's what Christians do together.
Our labors completed, we focused on worship and fellowship with a service preached by our own Mother Caitlin, followed by a rousing, kid-filled family fun day. Games, dancing, and feasting ensued.
I felt like they kind of engaged with us, not just like, you're coming in from the States to help us, but you're going to be part of our community. I really sensed that they had been kind of learning about our mission as much as we had been learning about our mission, and really wanted to fulfill that in the glory of God. You could see that in their services. Every time we stood to, welcome to start the morning with prayers and with song, they were just so glad to kind of emphasize and to be with us.
I think the first word that comes to mind to me is emotional, and that's not something that I say lightly or easily. I'm not normally an emotional person. Buen Pastor showed me really and truly the meaning of prayer, but that prayer is active, not passive. It's being in community, it's embracing one another, and accepting us, flaws and all, even if we mess up in translation too. And so it was very powerful and emotional.
That was a huge deal. I mean, you couldn't find. They were very inventive about what they found, and it was all active and it was all happy, and I mean they put on a show. I mean, it was really good.
Watching some of our colleagues on the trip, just carrying the toddlers around and doing the face painting and all that stuff was just really fun. And then when you think it's all going to wrap up after lunch, they bring out the cotton candy. They bring out the soap machine.
Yeah, and I think also I got the feeling that they pulled in people from the community all around, not just people that are members of that church. So it was really a community family fun day, and the fact that they fed everybody that was there, that was just amazing. And the bishop, I have never seen such a joyful person in my life, and he got right in there with the kids, and I just loved it. Yeah, so.
Soon we were off to the Galapagos for a pilgrimage of creation care. Creation care is a commitment to practice loving formation, liberating advocacy, and life-giving conservation as individuals, congregations, ministries, and dioceses. The Galapagos, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, offered a unique opportunity to explore God's creation at its purest.
I had spent a lot of time thinking before we got there about, what I had read, that the animals on the Galapagos, for so many generations have not had a ton of human contact, or the human contact they've had has not been adversarial. They don't view humans as predators. And so they'll just walk right up to you. And I'd spent time thinking theologically about how that echoes so much of that passage from Isaiah about the lion and the lamb lying together, and the child being near the adder's den and all, and how that must be a bit like paradise. It must be a glimpse at what the world will be restored to when Jesus comes back. And then when you actually have a sea lion walk up to you, it strikes you different. It was crazy. It was so amazing.
Yeah, the Galapagos are absolutely special. It's a unique ecological habitat there, the way the ocean currents play a role in keeping things cool and bringing up nutrients and bringing all wildlife. But the other thing about it is there are no predators. And the animals, you can walk right up to them, whether it's sea lions or giant tortoises and so on. The trip gave me a taste of that. It sort of piqued my interest to go back. But if I never have a chance to go back, I'll be happy that I saw it. And so it's a very special place.
I had never snorkeled before, so I had a little bit of doubt about my own abilities. But I was prepared. I had a life vest and everything should I need that. Found out that I was a lot more buoyant than I thought I was. But getting to look into the ocean and see rays and sharks and sea turtles, and getting to walk on the beaches and see iguanas on the islands of the Galapagos, and think about what that was like and what we could have if we worked together to protect that, and by extension work together to protect that in our own society.
For us, the mission and pilgrimage would come to a close, but these were just the beginnings of a greater journey, building relationships and developing a greater understanding of ourselves, our world, and our faith.
I hope that by sharing some of the experiences that we have, we can encourage other people to reach outside their comfort zone and also seek knowledge of how they can help the other members of our society and our world, and to protect the things that deserve protection, because nature deserves protection as much as humanity does.
I'm still trying to take those lessons forward, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like in my own life, but I know that it's impactful.
I've gotten a few texts from our friends at Buen Pastor, and when we were all meeting together and then saying our goodbyes, I just heard in this pealing echo through the congregation, "Don't forget about me, write me, text me. Don't forget about me, write me, text me. Don't forget about me, write me, text me." These relationships are not just a one-time thing. Relationships are something that you develop and you maintain. I've kept in touch with friends down there, texting and sending goofy pictures. I know a lot of our folks have kept in touch since then. And this was not a one-time thing. We're gonna go visit our friends again. We're gonna go visit our holy sacred friends again.